What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this was a tough result to take for a few different reasons. I think the biggest problem that I have is you compare it to last week, and honestly, just looking at the game compared to last week, first of all, we're missing quite a few key players. We were missing Martinez last week, but this week we're missing Mears due to injury, we're missing Assad due to red. We're missing a couple more key players this week, and yet despite that, we still look the better team. Also, you look at the fact that we were the better team for a majority of the game. Yeah, they had some really good chances, but we were more dangerous. I mean, most of their shots were coming from outside the box. They weren't really getting in. They weren't really getting any sort of good possession inside our box. We were driving in at their box. We were dangerous whenever we had the ball. And we kept possession quite a bit. But the biggest problem in all of this is we couldn't do anything about this week. There's nothing we could have done to stop this week. Last week, the 2 goals that Toronto scored, our fault. I mean, you look at it, the first one, defenders lost track of men, one guy runs free, goal. Well worked, but we should have tracked better. Second goal, Laurentowicz jogs away from one man who just makes a darting run around the guy. Free cross inside the box, darting run in, nobody's tracking him, goal. Both our fault. The red card, while still stupid, that it didn't have anything to do with the result itself. We maybe could have pushed on for a third goal to win it, but the 2 goals that we gave up were our fault. We were responsible for it. This week, both of the goals, there's nothing we can do about it. I mean, just being honest, the first one, referee's mistake. Second one, lucky goal. It sucks. It sucks to have to say that. It sucks to have to say we can't do anything about that. But I'm looking at the rest of the performance. I'm just like, today was solid. Today was a very solid performance. The scoreline doesn't reflect it. And it's disappointing, but that's how it is. Before I get into the team, though, I have to talk about the referees because I've been watching Premier League soccer since I was little. I grew up watching Premier League soccer. I've seen some bad referees. Some of them, they make some bad calls. Some of them make that one big mistake. It's just like, dude, what are you watching? The referees in the MLS are just idiots. Last week, nobody's talking about this for some reason. You shouldn't have looked at the scoreboard they shouldn't have shown it on the scoreboard either. You shouldn't be looking at that to help you out. It's not a foul. It's not a freaking foul. He reaches around his shoulder to get past him because the guy is checking into him. And just because his elbow makes the tiniest bit of contact on the side of his head and the guy goes down looking for an Oscar, somehow that's a red card. And everybody's in agreement about that. Why? Because the MLS. Because we need to protect our players. Shots to the head aren't allowed. Take away heading then. If that's really what you're saying, take away heading. Because it's going to happen. Hell, Perez got kicked in the head today. Gressel got slapped in the face. Where are the red cards on that? Oh, no. It's not an elbow to the head. That wasn't either. Nobody's talking about this. Everybody's just talking about it like it's a deserved red card. It wasn't. So aside from the fact that you looked at the screen, it's not a right call. And a lot of that has to do with how soft the league is. I mean, just being honest, we're soft in America. Why do you think other countries look at us and laugh? We're soft. People get so offended over everything. Somebody gets hit in the head. Oh, no. We can't have that, guys. We got to shut that down. In England, they're kicking each other in the head and not getting cards for it. Because that's just soccer. It's a contact sport. That's going to happen. And to red card somebody because he made accidental contact with his elbow to the guy's head, which wasn't even that bad, is stupid. You go to tonight, the refs are awful again. How is that a penalty? In what universe is the guy throwing his legs out and falling to the ground ever been a penalty? Diving has been a part of the game, no doubt. I've seen dives, I've seen good dives, I've seen bad dives. I've seen a lot of dives. This was one of the ones that you're just like, that's obviously a dive. You can tell I'm watching from my crappy quality TV. I can't even see who the players are. I just see little bodies. I can't read numbers. I can't see faces. That's how crappy my TV is. Live, I'm like, that's a dive. Watching the replay, easily, that's a dive. His legs flopped out from behind him. You're supposed to be watching for that. As referees, you should be trained to watch for when players dive. Because how many times do they do it in the MLS? At least 10 times a game. I mean, it's ridiculous how many times players just fall over looking for the call. They get touched, flop. They get touched, flop. This one is just, it's one of the ones that is so obviously a dive that there's no way they can call it, and somehow they still do. And on top of that, you give a red card for it. The guy's on top of it's the top of the box where the guy fell over, and his touch was taking him away from the goal. And you're seriously going to give a red for that? For a dive that wasn't even, it's not a foul, first of all, and the guy's touch is taking him wide. There's no guarantee that that touch wasn't going to go straight to the keeper. But no, as soon as he makes the call, as soon as the guy falls over, tweet, he's reaching for his back pocket. No thought, no talking to the assistant referee, because guess what? The fans are in his ear. That's all he hears, the fans in his ear, and he's an idiot. So that's my rant on referees. I'm sick of it. I really, really am. Because we've gotten the blunt end of all the stupidity from these referees for pretty much the majority of this season. Even at our place, I mean, the Carmona red card was soft, and that was at our place. So something's got to change. The MLS has to look at these referees, has to look at these mistakes that are happening. I don't know if these mistakes have happened all along, and just because I'm starting to watch the MLS, I'm starting to notice it. But this is bad. I mean, it's embarrassingly bad to say that our league in America has these referees who can't even make a simple call, who give red cards for the stupidest things, who call penalties that aren't even there. So, done with my rant. I wanted to get that out because I'm so pissed off about it. I need to release some aggression. So I feel a bit better now. Now I can talk about the positives. Because, like I said, the team performance, very, very solid. All around, I mean, we stuck to our game plan. We kept possession. Montreal were ready for that, and they counterattacked a lot. And honestly, there are a few moments that our defense, I think, needs to kind of get a bit more, I guess, accustomed to that. Because there are some times where it feels a bit nerve-wracking to watch them. Because it feels like they're not ready for the for the counterattack, for the speed that's coming at them. So I need to. I really shouldn't do reviews after I had some boiled peanuts, but that was my mistake. Anyway, but going from player to player, first I want to talk about Alec Can. I talked about him last game, how he did have to make some incredible saves, but a lot of those saves were kind of because he put himself in the wrong position. He has to make an incredible save because he was out of position in that moment. I'm watching a lot of his saves, and I'm actually a keeper coach for a high school team. I never played keeper, but I was a defender, so I know how to be in the right position at the right time. You know, as far as keepers go, I'm not really great with my hands or anything like that, but I know positioning pretty well. Watching him, a lot of these saves where he's having to dive across the goal and have to make those fingertip saves, I'm watching him and it's like he's not really moving. Like, I've noticed this for the past couple games. A lot of those saves, it's like he's just kind of, he's still here. His feet are still here as he's having to get across to there. Like that, the one that he had to, it was on his left side. So he's on his left side of the goal. Ball comes back across here. I'm watching him. His positioning is way too close to the near post. And then on top of that, he's having to kind of fall to get there. He's not really stepping across to get there. I don't know. I don't know if he does that on purpose, like he wants to look acrobatic when he makes the saves. But I feel like he could easily get to a couple of these and just kind of pick it up or save it to the ground instead of having to touch it wide. But, I mean, you know, both of the goals, I mean, one's a penalty. He didn't guess the wrong way. He went the right way. Just it was a good penalty. And the other one, like I said, just a lucky goal. So he couldn't really do anything on both of the goals, but he does kind of make me nervous watching him sort of stumble to get to the other side of the goal, because it feels like you should just be able to step and push across, especially because he's such a big goalkeeper. You should be able to just get across no problem, but he makes it look so much more difficult than it should be. But anyway, not too many complaints. Just I I feel like Guzan can't get here fast enough because as I'm watching Can more and more, I see the flaws in his game and I see where Guzan would probably be doing it a bit better. Um, Defense first on the right side we had Bloom. Came in for Mears because he was injured. Didn't really know who he was, but after watching him today, he's solid. Maybe a few naive moments where he's getting too far up and he's letting the guy in behind, and also you put somebody like Piatti up against him where it's just one-on-one and he's good at quick touches. He doesn't look comfortable doing one-on-ones, but as far as his play with his feet and as far as getting up and back and helping out both sides of the ball, he did well there. Whenever he put in a challenge, I mean, he was strong, he was big, he held off players most of the time. So overall, I was pleased with him. He's just, I mean, for his first game especially, hopefully as he continues to play, that experience will help him not make such poor decisions at times. But, I mean, for what I saw today, he definitely has a lot of potential. It is nice to know that we do have a backup just in case Mears ever gets hurt again. Parkhurst and Perez in the middle. Parkhurst maybe a bit quieter game, a couple moments getting pulled out of position at times, but still solid. You know, good leader back there to sort of keep everybody organized. Perez though, wow, just yeah, he's good. Like I've noticed in the past couple games, like he's been very very solid in the back, but today it's like he was ready. He was ready for it. He was going into great challenges. He was winning the ball, poking it off of people, putting us back on the attack whenever it looked like they were about to counterattack. Honestly, he was on form today. And I hate the ref had to be an idiot and throw him out because second half, it looked a lot less organized back there and a lot less confident back there because we were lacking Perez. So, I mean, yeah, he definitely stepped up today. Just watching him play, watching him move, make good interceptions. He's a player, and hopefully, I mean, we didn't challenge the Assad red card, which was obviously not a red card, so I doubt we're going to challenge this one either. So it's disappointing we won't have him for the next game, but I mean, when he comes back, I'm looking forward to it because he's really, really good. Garza, same thing. I mean, I talked about in the last game how solid and really effective he was going up and down the left side. Today, same thing. I mean, just such a constant worker. And I was actually talking to a friend of mine who watches a lot of Premier League and MLS stuff as well. And he was telling me, you know, it's just a matter of time before Garza gets looked at by Arena for the national team. I agree. Especially considering we don't really have a solid left back that's established. Garza's definitely putting in a bid to get up in there because, I mean, just watching him work, watching him get up and down the line, the touches are there, the passing is there, the movement is there. He's a very solid player, and at left back especially, he knows that position really well. In fact, he could even be more of a wing back because as much as he gets up in the attack, you could almost see him as a wing too. But his interchange and his the play that he has between him and Almiron and then Assad when he's out there, I mean, just that movement and the passing is so quick and so just smooth to watch. So he had another solid game today. I will say there are times where maybe he gets caught up too high, but at the same time, he works so hard to get back on defense that it's almost like you hardly even notice that he's out of position because you blink and all of a sudden he's back into position. It's just for those moments he does get a little too attacking, but I think part of that was because we didn't have Mears, who's normally maybe sitting back a little bit more. I guess it was a little bit more noticeable today. Into the midfield, we went Carmona, Laurentowicz, and Gressel again. Gressel, for me, another kind of disappointing game. He showed his ability at times. You know, it wasn't like last game where every single time he got on the ball was like, ugh, why is he on the field? Today, he definitely had a few more moments where it's just like, okay, so that was good. You know, a couple good switches, a couple good passing movements, several good moments where off the ball he's working hard to win it back. So, I mean, that part of his game is definitely there. But considering he's supposed to kind of be the box-to-box midfielder, the one that's sort of passing and moving, those passes have got to get better because there are way too many times where he's just giving it away and starting their attack by some sort of sloppy pass. But the potential is definitely there, and I think today was better than the game against Toronto. Just still too many mistakes for me. Laurentowicz, I said it last game, I'll say it again. He is so much better when he's dropping in as kind of that third center back. Like there are several moments where it almost looks like we went the back three of Parkhurst, Perez, and then Laurentowicz in the middle, and got our fullbacks up a little bit more. When he's back there, he looks solid. When he's in the midfield, he does not look solid. I really think we need to start looking at that. We need to start looking at him as possibly a center back, because watching him jog back on some of these where they're breaking forward and we're defending. I'm watching him jog back. I'm like, Jeff, what are you doing? You're supposed to be our defensive midfielder. You're supposed to be the one that's holding back and guarding the back line. And I'm watching you jog as some guy sprints past you to try to get in and help on the attack. Get back. I mean, it's not that hard, is it? So, I don't know. I really wish he'd just sort of stay back and not really get pulled up into the midfield that often. Either that or stay right in front of the defense and not get pulled up in the attack. Because, I mean, Carmona, for me today, he really was that one that sort of got up and got back. He was the box-to-box midfielder for me today. Watching him just sort of, he wins some challenges and then sometimes he's on the ball looking for passes. He wasn't great. He definitely had a few mistakes here and there. A couple moments where he dove in when he shouldn't be. He did that last game as well. But watching him at times, he looks like our best midfielder, because just some of the times when he has to hold up possession, somebody's putting a challenge in on him, but he's strong. A couple times where somebody's about to start their counterattack and all of a sudden in steps Carmona to either poke it out for throw-in, so now they slow down, or he's putting pressure and forcing them to go backwards, which slows down their attack as well. So I really think if you have Carmona be that sort of, not really a sweeper, but almost like a stopper, just kind of covering in the midfield, just going back and forth, and then have Laurentowicz drop in a bit deeper as more of a defender, I just think that right there is a much more defensive lineup, and especially considering we've been on the road for the past 3 games and we've got one more on the road, we're going to be facing a lot of attack at us. And so, we need a bit more defensive structure. I think that's really good defensive structure right there, to have that going on. Laurentowicz dropped in, Carmona being that sort of holding midfielder, going off just back and forth, guarding everybody, putting in challenges. I really think that's solid. But unfortunately, there were a few times where he's getting up and then doesn't really get back. Or Gressel gets up with Carmona, and now all of a sudden both of them are up, and Laurentowicz has stepped into that space, and now all of a sudden there's space in behind Laurentowicz in between him and the defense. So just that organization, I think at times, can hurt us. But overall, it was a solid midfield for today. Up into the front three, because it really was kind of like a 4-3-3, we have Almiron and Villalba kind of off of Jones. Both of them, I guess you could kind of say they were wings, but to be honest, most of our width came from Garza and Bloom getting up. But, I mean, Almiron again just showed his class, showed his ability. He's still our most dangerous player, and even without Martinez in, I think we're still dangerous with him on the field. Villalba, like I've said before, I think he's more naturally a striker, and today you can kind of see that. Part of that is he's not great on the ball, so like dribbling, coming across the field, he's not great there. That's not his movement. His movement is, I'm going forward. I'm attacking the goal. That's why as a striker, I think he looks so much more natural than when he's coming off the wing and he's having to drive inside. It's like he doesn't know what to do after that. And he beats that one player and he's coming inside, and while Almiron or Assad would be like, oh, there's somebody in behind, or dropping it back for help or something like that, he's lost. He's like, I'm just coming inside, I don't know what to do, and he's lost the ball. So I just think putting him there, I would prefer to see Jones and Villalba just up top together with Almiron in behind in this case, but he kind of did stick as more of a right wing than a center forward. So I think that did hurt him a little bit. But, I mean, his work ethic is still there, and just watching him work hard to win the ball back and keep the ball as well, it's definitely good to see. See that we have a player that will do that. And then Jones, first start, gets himself a goal, works hard up there. Definitely can see why he doesn't get the start over Martinez, just because there's so many times where I'm watching a pass come into his feet, and just like Martinez would just take a touch and either have a shot or lay it off to somebody, Jones doesn't have that same touch. However, I do think, when we're in that situation where we're down a man, or it's just constant attack and we need somebody to stay up top, he's that type of player. I mean, honestly, that helped us about the first 10, 15 minutes when they were kind of down our throat trying to get a goal. We had that outlet in Jones where we kind of boot it out, and then he's there to win it and flick it on behind the defense or something, to where now they can't just kick it right back at us. He's just there, and now it's gone. Now they have to chase back, which gives us a chance to organize and get out of our defensive third. So that's definitely what he's in the team for, and I think we need to use him more effectively as far as that goes. Obviously, until Martinez comes back, don't really have many other options besides him and Villalba. But just, watching him play today, it's nice to know that he is a solid forward. He can play. He can get out there and rough some people up and kind of help us keep possession whenever we need him to. So that's always nice to see that you have a bit of depth in the team. Subs that came on, first one was Walks, came on for, I think, Gressel, dropped in as the other defender beside Parkhurst. Didn't really see a whole lot from him. I mean, obviously, he did have to do a lot of defending, but I don't know, just whereas Perez, I'm constantly like, oh, that's a great challenge, that's a great challenge. He's doing really well. Walks was more, I guess, underplayed. And I don't know if that's because somebody else was stepping in to make the challenges, or if he was just that effective in closing people down that he didn't have to. But the first thing he did coming into the club, the first game, he gives up an own goal. So it's nice to see that he got to play an entire half and didn't make any major mistakes that kind of taint his record. But I mean, he was, from what I can tell, he's solid. He didn't do anything wrong. He didn't do anything that made me go, oh, why is he out there? Do we not have any better options? So, once again, looking at the depth of the team, it's good to know that we have a defender that is solid to take Parkhurst or Perez's place. Second sub to come on was Kratz, came on for Jones. Don't really know where he plays, if he's a forward or if he's more of a midfielder. It did look like at that point Villalba and Almiron were up top, and he sort of dropped in as an attacking mid. I didn't really see much from him, to be honest. I don't know. At this point, I was doing some other stuff while also keeping an eye on the game, so I wasn't 100% focused on the game when he came on. But when I was watching, I did see him, and he just, I don't know, it felt like he wasn't really up to the pace of, I guess, Montreal and everything they were doing, the speed that they have. It looked like he wasn't up to that same speed. So I don't really know, like I said, I don't really know what his positioning is. So if he was supposed to be a midfielder, I guess he did okay in shutting him down at times. If he was supposed to be more of an attacking mid, he didn't really provide a whole lot going forward. So I guess it just depends on what he's out there to do. Because he didn't really provide much for us going forward. And then McCann came on late for, I think, Villalba. And just, I don't know, I still haven't seen much from him. I've heard a lot of people talking about him, how he's a solid midfielder, it would be nice to have him on. I haven't seen that from him yet. I haven't seen that moment where I'm just like, yes, I want McCann on the field for a sub. He's just kind of there. He hasn't really done much going forward. He hasn't done much defensively. He's just kind of been a body on the field whenever he comes on. So hopefully he can start to show his quality and show what he has, what he can bring to the team. Because, if you're just a player on the team, if you don't have something that you can bring to the team to change it up or to provide, you kind of just become a sub if you need to get some fresh legs out there. And I don't think that's what people want him to be. I think people see him as a bit more than that. So hopefully he can show that if he gets a chance in the next couple games. But like I said, all in all, it was a solid performance. It was really, really strong team performance. Even after the red card, I mean, we still looked like we could possibly have a chance to go on and get a goal and win it. It's just unfortunate that one shot, deflection, flies towards the far post. It happens. So I'm still really proud of the team. I'm proud of what they did. A lot of hard work. Obviously, a loss is disappointing, but only one more away game, and then we're back home, which is always nice to. After you've been on the road for so long, it's nice to come back home and be able to play in the home stadium again. But yeah, I'm Really looking forward to it because hopefully at that point the rest will be bad in our favor instead. But anyway, that's about it for me here. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Who's your man of the match? What were your thoughts on the game? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Atlanta United reviews, and I'll see you at the next game. Peace out.